Hello friends, welcome to great program. Hope you all are doing well. So this is a new fresh video. In our previous video, we started with project chartering, which is a part, which is one of the fundamental aspects of defined phase, right? So in project charter to have seven different elements, and we have done with first three elements a business case, which talks about why are we supposed to work on this problem right now. Then second element was a problem statement. Problem statement is all about quantifying what problem we do have currently. So that's a quantification of the problem. This quantification of the problem will help answer the question why we should work on the problem right now. So there is a relation between business case and problem statement. Now, the third element is a goal statement, which talks about desired state. So today we are standing over here. That's what problem statement speaks about. And the goal statement talks about desired state. So after completion of the improvement project, this is where we supposed to stand. That's what goal statement talks about. And that's where the relation between problem statement as well as goal statement. So these three elements are correlated to each other. So there is a logical sequence in between these three elements: business case, then problem statement, then goal statement. Now let's go ahead and try and understand next few elements or next four elements of the project charter. So let's go to the next slide. Before we proceed, this is the business case, first element. This is the second element. This is kind of a revision, right? Second element. And of course, this is the third element, goal statement. And this is how the project charter will look with these first three elements. And now we are going to understand the very next element, fourth element, which is project scope. So let's go ahead and try and understand the project scope. What is project scope and why it is needed? So the scope element of the project charter establishes the boundaries of the Six Sigma projects to be implemented. Project scope answers the question of what is to be covered in the project and what is not. So of course, when you're having boundaries, and it helps us understand what need to be covered in given project and what need not to be covered in a given project. Right. So let's take an example first, and then we'll go through and try and understand why do we need this project scope. So project scope do have two sub-elements: in scope and out of scope. Within the boundaries, that is in scope, and outside boundaries, that is out of the scope. So in our current example of PT non-compliance, so in scope is the metric which we're going to work on is process time non-compliance reduction. This is the only metric we are going to work around, and that too for the location of Pune, India, not some other plants of ABC Private Limited. So if ABC is having say 3 or 4 different plants, this particular project we are going to deploy, an improvement project which we are going to deploy, it will only be for a Pune location and only include the metric called PT non-compliance, processing time non-compliance. That is in scope. Now what is out of scope? For operations, they do have different metrics. So out of scope is other metrics. We are not going to look into other metrics and improvement in other metrics in this given project. And of course, other locations. So same metric for other locations. We are not going to look for any other location. Same metric for only one location. So this is the out of the scope thing. So we are defining the boundaries with the help boundaries of the project with the help of project scope. Now let's understand why do we need a project scope. The project scope defines the boundaries of a project. That is, project scope prohibit unplanned changes in the project during project implementation. So when you keep on implementing the project, say for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, there might be few changes, unplanned changes occur, and we might get deviated towards those changes. We show project scope help us to prohibit deviating towards those changes. So that's the first valuable aspect of the project scope. Why we supposed to do the project scope? It prohibits unplanned changes in the project during project implementation. So what happens many a times, project work starts as per the planned specification. However, project started extending or deviating, as I already mentioned, deviating, that is covering additional unplanned project areas beyond what we already have originally agreed before we started the project. So all this extension and deviation is called project creep. Such an unplanned extension of project, this project creep, what it causes is it causes delays in the project completion, and of course it demands extra efforts. When it demands extra efforts, when the project completion gets delayed, of course it costs to the organizations. So defined project scope avoids such a project creep, and that is the value of project scope. So how we have to define the scope of the project, the boundaries of the project beyond which this project will not work. So that's about this project scope. Now, but we do have a different problems in different areas. Then you take those problems in different improvement projects, not in the same improvement project. So one improvement project for a one problem, that too for one location. That is how we are going to go and deploy it. So that's the importance of the project scope. It helps us understand what needs to be covered, and most importantly, what need not to be covered. What need not to be covered is kind of a project creep. So it avoids such a project creep. Let's go to the next slide and understand or see how and where we do have this project scope in a project charter. So project scope, in scope, PT non-compliance for the location of Pune, India based plant. So Pune is based out of India, right? It's a city based out of India. ABC Private Limited had their one plant in Pune, right? So this particular project is only for a given plant, and that too only for a given metric. Out of scope, other operational metrics and other locations of ABC Private Limited. So this is about the project scope. Let's go to the next slide and understand next few elements. Right. The fifth element is project team. So for Six Sigma project deployment, we would need a project team for that matter. And of course, we have a project leader in the form of Green Build. So you are the one who are going to lead it. But to deploy the project, you also need some support from the team. Ideally, it's supposed to be 3 to 4 member team. Right? So rest of the team members are of course yellow belt professionals, right? So you're going to help them understand how to deploy Six Sigma project, and what are different elements of the six, or what are different modules, or what are different phases of the Six Sigma. So you're going to just sensitize the team members. Mostly, rather always, these team members are from the ground level, a team who knows end-to-end process well. This team might also include one of the supervisors as well. So if you're having 3 to 4 members, you as a green belt project leader, one of the supervisors who will be there with a couple of other team members who are the experienced team members in the team. And likewise, you have formed your team and you're good to go to deploy Six Sigma project. Besides a core team, which normally do take care of deployment or execution of the Six Sigma Green Belt project, we would also need some help from the ad hoc team. That includes your senior management. Time to time, they have to just approve it. They have to guide with their ideas and understandings. Then you have a master black belt and black belt who are the specialist into Lean Six Sigma and deployment of Lean Six Sigma. So you also need their support of your senior management as well as of your master black belt intermittently while deploying this particular project. And that is why they are kind of your ad hoc teams. They provide their guidance and they share their experiences and help to successfully deploy this particular project. Now, key point for both of this team, core team and ad hoc team, it totally depends on, criteria for team members. How are you going to select the team members? Of course, It's not you as a green belt going to select it. Management will select those team members to deploy this project, you as a green belt, and the management will allocate or assign few resources, like grounder individuals or supervisor. They assign it to you so that together you can deploy this particular project. But selection of the team members totally depends on the availability of that particular resource, especially team members who are part of the core team. They're supposed to spare some time out of their work. So availability is very important. So management got to understand the availability, and accordingly they got to allocate the individuals. Not only availability, the current knowledge of the process. They got to know process inside out, like end to end, every aspect of the process they got to know. So they got to be knowledgeable about the process. And finally, influence. Influence is like authority to gather few information. Whenever we need information, they're supposed to have the authority to gather this particular information. If you do have all these three things available, we can really expedite the project, or we can really speeden up the project and complete the project on expected timeline. So that's about the project team. It's a very, very important aspect. Let's go and try now to see how the project team looks into our um, project chart. Let's go to the next slide. Right. So you could see over here champion. Champions are like senior management individuals who will guide you with the help of their support. Not only that, if you have certain challenges to deploy certain projects, senior management is always need to be there to somehow help you so that you can work on those challenges, or you can fix those challenges, operational challenges. So that's where you need them. Those individuals are part of your ad hoc teams. Then your master black belt, for kind of from a business excellence team, they do provide their guidance. If you have any challenges to deploy Six Sigma phases, so this individual helps over there. And then a project leader, a green belt is there, and of course the project team. So this is about your team members, and this is about one of the most important uh, element of the project charter: team members who are going to be involved in this project for next 2 to 3 or 4 months during deployment of this Six Sigma project. So let's go to the next slide. Right. So we are done with first 5 elements. Started with business case, then problem statement, then goal statement, then fourth is project scope, fifth is project team members, and now the sixth one is project timeline. This is also very important aspect. If you could remember, we said that project charter is kind of one-page document. We'll showcase it to the senior management, and senior management will approve whether we should go ahead with this project or not, whether we should go ahead to solve this problem or not. So one of the very important aspect which senior management will look into the given project is the timeline of the project. By when are we going to start this project, and by when are we going to finish this project? So that is very important aspect, and that's why this project timeline is important thing. And as we know that we have 5 different phases: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So when are we going to start or define phase, kind of an estimated timeline, and when are we going to finish define phase? When are we going to start measure phase? When are we going to finish measure phase? Likewise, we supposed to mention the estimated timeline to start and complete a given phase. Now, second thing why this is important is like by the end of every phase, we're supposed to show it to the senior management, the progress report of each phase to the senior management. So senior management will have this thing in their mind that, okay, by this time I'll get to know, what is going to happen in defined phase. So by this time, I will be able to know what is going to happen in a major phase. So likewise, they can also keep a track of given project. And that is where project timeline is very important. So let's read it out. The project timeline element of the project charter establishes the estimated milestones and associated completion dates for the project phases. That's about the project timeline. Let's go to the next slide and see how this project timeline will look. This is how we can have it into our project charter. So you can see the start date and end date for each and every phases over here: define phase, measure phase, analyze phase, improve phase, and control phase. So this gives the clarity. When are we going to start the project? So here, define phase is going to start on the 1st Jan 2022, is about to finish on the 6th Jan 2022 within a week's time. At the same time, we're going to finish the complete project on 30th April 2022. So when senior management will look into it, they'll be able to see that, okay, this will take 1st Jan to 30th April, almost in 4 months of time. I'm expecting some benefit out of this project. Now, what is that benefit? We're going to look into the next element, that is estimated project benefits. So let's go to the next slide to understand it. Right, seventh element, estimated project benefit. So this is the last element of the project charter. Estimated project benefit is also called quality net savings, QNS. It is projection of monetary benefits either in the form of USD or INR, Indian rupees, of course, that's for India, and in the form of your own country, your country's currency as well. Right? So it's a monetary benefit, or it also can be a qualitative benefit like customer retention, customer satisfaction. So when you deploy any improvement project based on problem solving methodology like Six Sigma, not necessarily there will be only monetary benefits. Of course, direct monetary benefits are also are undoubtedly the most important aspect. However, the qualitative benefits are also quite crucial, like customer satisfaction. Because by the end of the day, if my customers are happy and satisfied, if they continue doing business with me, then only I'm going to get some benefits in the form of money, right? So these two things are very crucial, and estimated project benefit, when we really want to define the benefit, those benefits are either the monetary benefits or qualitative benefits like customer retention, customer satisfaction, right? So financial benefits, how we calculate the financial benefit, it's an estimated annual projected benefit after implementation of this project minus project implementation cost. So how are we going to calculate the financial benefit? Once we're done with the project, this project details, or whatever improvement we are going to achieve, we are going to share it with the finance team. Finance team, will do the projections of the benefit of this particular project for annual purpose. So annually, how much is a projected benefit they calculated? But that is not the only thing they do. They subtract the cost associated with this given project, because the efforts of the individual team is involved into this, right? So that cost they somehow subtract it for say 3 to 4 months. When you work on this given project, there's some efforts associated, and effort always comes with the cost. So they subtract that amount, that much of amount of your efforts from the projected benefit, and then whatever will be left, that will be the benefit or expected or estimated benefit of from a given project on an annual basis. So take an example that you have completed a given project, and in that project you achieve say 10% of improvement. Now, prior to 10% of improvement, you had the losses, annual losses of around $10,000. Now, with this improvement of 10%, you have saved, this is example, right? $1,000. So your annual estimated benefit is around $1,000. By the way, you're not supposed to do all this calculation. Finance teams are quite equipped enough to do all these things. All we need to do is just pass it on to them. So they will do the rest of the things. It's like a day in, day out kind of a easy task for them. So they will do it on their own. So you have $1,000 of annual estimated benefit. But at the same time, for last 4 months, 3 of your team members are working on this. So they have spared some time, right? So you have their monthly salary, so monthly salary when they work for 8 hours, This is X amount is the salary. Now, out of these 8 hours, if they spare say a couple of hours on this project, so likewise, based on all this stuff, their monthly salary and time consumption in a given project, they calculate the cost, or they calculate the cost of efforts, you would say. So if that cost of efforts would be say $200, so $1,000 is your annual benefit minus $200, which is your efforts cost. So rest is $800. So annual estimated or projected benefit of this given project is $800. So your finance team will approve this. This is what is your estimated project benefit. So let's take a small example of our PT non-compliance. Based on the calculations of finance team, reducing non-compliance by 20% will increase productivity by approximately 2%. It means estimated increase of USD 1.5 lakhs, or for that matter, $150,000 in annual revenue. That's what is the finance team is going to approve. So this is about your estimated benefit of this project, $101,50,000, for that matter, $150,000 after subtracting your cost of efforts. So imagine in this particular project, the estimated benefit would have been say $180,000. But since 3 members or 4 members worked on this project almost for are going to work on this project for say 4 months, so the cost of efforts would be say $30,000, right? Roughly. So 1.5 lakhs or 150,000 minus $30,000, it would be sorry $180,000 minus $30,000. So annual estimated benefit of financial benefit out of this project is $150,000. This is what, and this is how finance team is going to approve it. So you don't need to worry about the calculation. They will do it and they'll approve it. So that's about your estimated project benefit. So these are the kind of 7 elements we had in a project charter. So let's go to the next slide. Right. So this is how estimated project benefit will look in a project charter. That's our last element. So based on the calculations of finance team, reducing non-compliance by 20% will increase, excuse me, will increase the productivity by approximately 2%. It means estimated increase of USD $150,000 in annual revenue. So that's about estimated project benefits. Now let's go to the next slide and try and see how the entire project chart is looking. We started with the entire project charter. Now we are ending, this particular step with entire project charter again. So we started with business case, problem statement, then goal statement, then project scope, then we have just gone through team members, a project team, project timeline, and finally estimated project benefit. So to just sum up project charter, it's kind of a document, one-page document, which speaks about the problem in brief, so that senior management can go through it quite quickly. They will be able to give answers to each and every single doubt or question they may have for a given problem. So this is the power of project charter. So on that note, let's go to the next slide. Right. So we are done with first 2 steps. First step was, of course, to find out a probable problem and then prioritize the problems. That's what we did through operational level diagnostics, and of course FMEA as well. So you can either use FMEA or operational level diagnostics to finalize or come up with prioritized problems, or even you can use both of them together. That's totally up to you. So you can use it and you will prioritize the problem. First of all, find the problems and then prioritize it. The next step was a project charter, which is a documentation of quantification of a problem, or documentation of quantified problem, and of course goal statements and into how it's different elements as well. We have just gone through the project charter. Now the next step is all about understanding end-to-end process flow. If you could remember, we said what are two purposes of defined phase? A, first of all, to find out what is the problem, and B, where that particular problem is located in the process flow chart. So let's go ahead through this step number 3 and understand end-to-end process flow. The purpose of this end-to-end process flow is to visualize where is the problem located into the process flow. The next slide, please. Right, process flow chart. Understanding end-to-end process flow. Every company do normally maintain process flow chart for the purpose of ISO or other quality certifications. So all we need, you as a Six Sigma doing this need is just request them to just have the process flow chart. So they can just bring that process flow chart to the table in just 10 to 15 minutes, I'm sure. So we need to pull this particular document in our discussions. Then why do we need process map or process flow chart? So let's go ahead and understand it. So in defined phase, we not only discuss what is the problem, but we also need to know where is the problem located in our day-to-day work activities. So if we get to know where the real problem is located, it's really easier to find it out and fix it. So that's the purpose behind it. So end-to-end process flowchart help us visualize the process, not only process different steps of the project or process to and fro flow of raw material and information in the process of product development or service delivery. Then end-to-end process flowchart also help us understand what are different stakeholders associated. Stakeholders are the one who are working and who are on this given on a given step, or for that matter, the individuals who get benefited out of this process. So this may include your suppliers from where you get raw material. This may include your client who comes up with their request. This may include your purchase department. This may include your production department. This may include your quality department, your finance department, who normally do the billing, accounting, and finance department. They do the billing, then your transportation department. So this help the process flow chart help us understand different stakeholders or different departments associated in the process. So in short, process flow chart provides a visual understanding of where exactly the given problem is located in the process. So if we could be able to find out what is the problem and where exactly the problem is located, it will be easier for us to fix that given problem. And that is the power of process flowchart. It's kind of sensitizing with the location of the problem in the process. So that's about the process flowchart. Let's quickly go over example of our case, PT processing time non-compliance. So this is ideally, is a process flowchart of our of the process. We are deploying this project for. So start, and then of course you have different steps associated. I'm not going to read all of them, but you could see we do have flange forging, then we do have raw material inspection, then raw material cutting, then flange forging. It will go to heat treatment, then forging rolling, then rust prevention, and final inspection of the flange, then packing, and then to go to delivery and sales invoice, and the process will end. So you can see or visualize the given process. So this is the process flow chart. Normally, I mean, this is for our own project, a current case study, but process flow chart for your own problem, will help you locate a given problem, and that will be easier, to be very honest, to solve that given problem. So this is about a process flow chart, a process map. We also call it high level process map, we call it. So on that note, let's go to the next slide. Right. So we are almost done with the define phase. We talked, we have gone through different tools which we use in a define phase. Then we also spoke about the concept of define phase, what and where is the problem. Right now, we will go through the we'll go through a few questions. So it's a quiz time for us. So project scope defines the boundaries of a project. That is, project scope prohibit unplanned changes in the project during project implementation. True or false? And the answer is true. Yes, project scope defines the boundaries of the project, which prohibit unplanned changes in the project. So that's about the project scope. Let's go to the next slide. Selection of team members in Six Sigma projects depend only on availability of resources. Is it only on availability of resource? True or false? What is the answer? The answer is false. Selection of team members in Six Sigma project is not totally depending on availability of the resources. Yes, availability of the resources is one aspect, one important parameter. Other two important parameters are, of course, the knowledge base of the individual, how much knowledgeable they are about a given process. So that's about the second parameter. But of course, the influence, that is, do you have an authority to collect or collect some required information for the project? That's the third aspect. So this is a false statement if you're going to say that selection of team members in Six Sigma projects totally depends on availability of the resources. Let's go to the next slide. Estimated Six Sigma project benefit includes A, monetary benefits like dollar savings, B, qualitative benefits like customer satisfaction, customer retention, improvement, C, both. And the answer is estimated Six Sigma project benefit includes both monetary benefits as well as qualitative benefits like customer satisfaction and customer retention. And as we already talked about this, that if you have customer satisfaction, you can retain the customer, and to retain the customer, you can definitely have more dollar savings, or you can definitely have more revenue in the form of dollars. That is why both of these are project Six Sigma project benefits. High-level process map of flowchart provides visual understanding of where exactly problem is located in the process. True or false? And the answer is, we have just gone through the process flowchart. So the answer is true. High-level process map of flowchart provides a visual understanding of where exactly problem is located in the process. Now, if we could visualize the problem, I think it would be easier to solve it. And that is the power, that is the importance of process flowchart. Let's go to next slide. Yes, we are, as we discussed, we are done with the define phase. In a very next video, we will enter into measure phase, where we are going to define how are we going to measure the problem with the help of performance standard. So this is about our current today's video. I hope you all have enjoyed the video. As I kept on requesting you, if you like it, please let your friends know about our Breath Ethics program. Your friends, your families, your relatives know about this particular program, so that they'll also can get benefited with this particular program. We would like to reach to everyone with this particular program. So on that note, maybe a last request to you all, please, if you have not, liked it, like the video before, please do like it, share it, and please subscribe our channel of Great Effects. So on that note, Uttishta Bharata, Ma Bharati shall rise again in her full glory. Have a wonderful, wonderful time ahead. But before we end, let's thank technology companies who supported us. We deeply appreciate following technology companies for their technological support.